It's the what the fuck edition of The Rise of Skywalker. That's what this is. Okay? So let's start with being thrust into the middle of the battle of Kylo Ren and the rest of the Knights of Ren, who we haven't seen for an entire goddamn movie, fighting some motherfuckers looking for something, and then they find the something that they're looking for, and it's a Sith Wayfinder, something that's never existed before. We have no fucking idea what the hell they're even goddamn talking about. A Sith Wayfinder that he plugs into his fucking ship that he's flying. It's cool ass space faring fucking scene as he's going to find the home planet of the Sith, Exegol, which up until this movie doesn't exist, because this entire movie is winged right out of the asshole of whoever wrote it. Okay? It was A-winged right out the asshole. So once he gets on Exegol, the next what the fuck is them explaining to us that Snoke is just a clone that Palpatine put in his place to whatever the fuck. Yes. Okay. So the next what the fuck is, hey, all these shadows and shit that are on the wall that I see here in this arena-like, temple-like area with all these statues and shit under the ground. Oh no, these are people. I imagine these are the people that they use to build this force of thousands of destroyer-class Star Destroyers that all have planet-killing technology on them. What the fuck? Alright, so if this were a video game, if this were a Knights of the Old Republic 3, along with all the star-killing bases and the Death Star and the star-killing guns that are on Star Destroyers, there's a certain amount of over-the-topedness that you could be used to in Knights of the Old Republic video game. Like, for instance, the Starforge, which would basically, it's a giant machine that eats a star and can just shit out a fleet of ships, like through magic, through like just force magic. So do I have to apply some of that force magic to them building this entire fleet, I guess, underground in the ice for 20 to 30 years after the fall of the second Death Star? Is that where I'm at? Is that what I'm supposed to believe here? Because there's so many what the fucks. There's so many what the fucks in the movie that it was ridiculous. Is what it is. I can closer than that. No, I'm serious. So what's the next what the fuck? Just Palpatine being back. Palpatine being back, period, is a gigantic, hey, what the fuck. Now, it will come as a surprise to mundanes, but I know that in Dark Empire from Dark Horse Comics, when Darth Vader tosses Palpatine over the railing in the Death Star, and that blue flame gust of energy comes barreling out, that's his life force. And that's his life force going to find another clone. But since they never really set up the transference of life forces into clones, none of that's ever implied in Return of the Jedi, because there's no depth to Return of the Jedi. There's no real depth to any of the three original Star Wars movies. And that's not an insult. it's just a reality that from scene to scene, for each scene that lasts for its 30 seconds to a minute, there's not a whole lot of depth. You don't get as much depth in the original Star Wars trilogy as you would in the novelizations of the trilogy. So if you got a problem with that, go tell it to the fucking sheriff. But even during the prequels, whenever Palpatine tells Anakin Skywalker of Darth Plagueis and being able to, the secret of everlasting life, it's still never explained to him whether or not, he's just lying to him, or the fact that one day he'll need to transfer his body into a force being who's strong enough to house his essence. But it never gets around to anything. Now, I don't want to get too far off the beaten track and go down a goddamn rabbit hole, because the entire intention of this is supposed to be a what the fuck about Rise of Skywalker. So that was Palpatine's back, and he's on whatever the fuck kind of apparatus, and he's shooting lightning into the sky, and he's you want this? Yeah, your faith in your friends is yours. Oh, I'm afraid that this Death Star will be quite operational when your friends arrive. So he's back. And this was a bunch of bullshit, because, again, there was no foundation whatsoever laid throughout any of the fucking movies, because there was no intention on him coming back. Alright? Oh, what a joke. Okay, what's the next what the fuck? Palpatine's the one who created the dyad between Rey, because it's his granddaughter, and Kylo Ren. Okay. Why? Why? What next? What other whys? Why didn't they make a movie out of the best part of the story in this entire trilogy that we didn't get to see? You know, the whole part with Luke Skywalker training Ben Solo, and it doesn't go so well, and we get the one flashback, and then we get another flashback. You know what they should have done? They should have done an entire movie that was that fucking flashback. That's what the movie should have been, instead of some bullshit-ass 3 movies that we got. Yeah. Remember, this is the what the fuck version of Rise of Skywalker. So I could be complimentary and satisfied in other postings regarding this trilogy, the Skywalker trilogy. And this is the one where I'll be the most critical, where I'll nitpick at particular things. It won't even be a nitpick. It'll be a general. If you think about it for more than 2 minutes, you're going to ask yourself, hey, what the fuck? For instance, where did all these people come from? Where did all the ships come from at the end? I guess they all owed Billy D. They all owed frickin' Lando a favor, so that's when they all showed up. No, you've got to read some ancillary material to find out how all these people showed up, right? Because if you think about the end of Last Jedi, there was nobody left. They had like one fucking ship left. There was 33 people left. Rey comes and saves them on the Falcon. There's like 33 motherfuckers left, right? Where did all the rest of these people come? They sent out the call that no one answered. They had no more fighter pilots, no more fighters whatsoever. Now all of a sudden they got a whole fleet of like thousands of ships and everybody that are willing to help them. And I don't care if there's ancillary material. That's always a bunch of bullshit to me. Same as if I need to know about the Knights of Ren, who we don't know anything about, I've got to read a comic book or read a novelization to know about the Knights of Ren, because you couldn't take time to fit it into your 3-hour movie that was full of a whole bunch of fluff. Rey being a Palpatine. There's no setup for any of this. I don't care what anyone tries to say. There's no setup for any of that. Do I have a problem with her being a Palpatine? I don't have a problem with her being a Palpatine. I have a problem with this stupid wasted time. What the fuck misdirect in the second one to come around to this? Her being a Palpatine would explain all these latent force powers that she had and how it was just like, it was in her and she's a chosen one and she could do all this other type of shit. Whatever. Whatever, dude. I'll accept whatever, because what are you going to do about it, right? What the fuck, a cool what the fuck was the whole young Leia training with the young Luke. That's something I didn't expect. That to me was probably the coolest part of the goddamn movie. Although I did enjoy the movie from beginning to end. With the exception, you have all the what the fucks. Like I said, I can compartmentalize the what the fuck moments and the hey, just get in and go moments. But I did, I did, my mouth did drop open when I saw that, because that part was cool as hell, because it gave you the possibility of what more could happen. But then if you do some more research on it and you find out, it's like, oh, Leia is not a Jedi, even though she trained with Luke and all this other type of bullshit. And then there's the whole Mary Poppins thing from Last Jedi. But the whole Leia dying thing, whenever they tell us what's going on, that was a what the fuck. Like, you had enough footage to put her in the movie. May the universe rest Carrie Fisher. But then when you ran out of film, you guys had to tell us what was going on to have her pass on the whole thing with the gunshot and Kai and Ben, and like, yeah, whatever. Whatever the fucks. What the fuck's the point of him? What's the point of him going good for those 10 minutes if he's just gonna die any fucking way? Like, why not just have him live and then he rebuilds the Jedi Temple? No one would have been pissed if he died. He didn't need to die because Han Solo died. He should have never killed Han Solo in the first movie to begin with, you fucking jackasses. But he didn't have to die in this one, considering we already had so much loss. Way to go, by the way. You kill Han Solo, you kill Luke Skywalker, you fake kill Chewbacca for a few minutes, and then you kill Princess Leia. But who do you got? Lando and Nien Nunb? Like, what the fuck? The whole whatever BS love story thing that they're trying to get going on between Rose and Finn, but then it was backlash from stupid fools on the internet who have nothing better to do but bully some chick on Twitter to make her get off of Twitter, so then they reduce her role in this movie. Then that goes nowhere, so it was pointless. The whole thing with what Finn had to tell Rey, but he never got around to it. The whole he's force sensitive, hence why he's able to use a lightsaber and all of that. And again, nothing happens with that. Ben doesn't rebuild a temple and trains, and you don't see like Rey training with Finn to show that the Force is alive. Like the little kid with the broom at the end of little kid who uses the Force to sweep the broom. They sweep the broom. The little Geppetto kid at the end of the Last Jedi. Hey, look, Mamma Mia, the Force will always be around. I'm gonna sweep up the Force a pizza shop. What the fuck? What the fuck was with General Hux relaying information just to get popped, just to get killed anyway? Like, what the fuck? What was the point of that? Hey, remember to like and subscribe for updates. What the fuck?